Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Smith, and usually it's on a Monday, but I was a little under the weather yesterday, so doing it on a Tuesday. But every week we do the Power Hour. So if you're new, welcome. And we usually do this 1 hour after the close on Mondays, and this is where we get everything done, right? This is where, this is where we do all the teaching and get you where you need to be. I believe the course is now up on the site, so we got that going for us. And I talked about it in the Strat Attack, and I think I talked about it in Strat Time Report to start off. Very important concept, and it's called the simultaneous break. And we had one today, and it pretty much helped everybody get the lows. And so what that is, it can be, there's a reason that I go through, and if you have questions, you can start typing them in. That we I go through the SPY, diamonds, Qs, and small caps at the beginning of every Strat Time Report because we want to see if there's simultaneous breaks going on. What that means is, do we have signals and all four of them in the same direction? That's something I want to know about because here we had the outside 60, the inside on the SPY. Boom, that was it. Off she went, no more lower lows for the rest of the day. Went out and took out this high to give us the broadening formation. The outside day, right? And since we know once you fail one side of the range, you start coming back through, you're going to take out the other side. Here you can see that inside 60 to the downside that got it going off off this part. If you go to the QQQ, is a little different, but this is something else we also look for, the 322. The outside, poke down, boom. These two become the outside bar of that, and you had small cappers here inside back to the upside, and the Dow Jones Diamonds also the 312. So that's important to know about when you have those breaks in the same direction. So for newer folks especially, we're looking for these on all time frames. It can be sector specific. We prefer it to be like monthlies because then you have a lot more time on them. But it can be down to any time frame, and it can be like any group. So one of the things you'll see over time, especially if you're new here, is when I'm doing my scanning, for the weeklies and monthlies, I want to see how many things are triggering, how many twos are in one direction, right? So if you have a high concentration, that's pretty much the direction it's going to go. So just so you know. All right, let me get over here. I got one email question to get to first. And once again, if you can't be here, you can email questions in, and that way you can have your questions answered, and it's recorded, and everybody gets to hear the answer. So, first question. What is the best way to follow the Twitter gap list during the day? Check with multiple time frames every 20 and 50 after the hour, or at the bottom and top of the hour. You want to go 20 and 50 minutes after the hour so you're ready to go on that flip, right? You can keep monitoring for the next 10 minutes. But at that point, I want to see if there's any combinations. Like, if this 30 works, what would that do to the 60, right? Or am I smack dab in the middle of the 60 and say, well, it's an inside 30, but I'm nowhere near taking out the 60. I might not take that, right? So it's always if this, then that. So one of the things like here, an example is like what was just in the Strat Attack show, CDLX. So you see this, here's that 322 week. Outside week, pokes up, 2-2 reversal, boom, we're looking to come and take this thing out, right? Now if that works, right, and I'm sorry, we can go down to the daily. Inside day. If this breaks the inside day, I'm looking for it to be 2-2 on the week and 3-2-2 to finish it off. Now if that works, what does that create? Potential Rev Strat month over here. Inside, poke up, boom. And you'll hear me use this analogy a lot. This is like playing pool, right? You don't just knock the ball into the pocket, right? You want to leave yourself another shot, right? So you can keep cleaning the table out. Let's see. And also, could you show how to Peloton and SQ both on the 30-minute? Okay. Peloton 60. So Peloton opening is an inside month. First of all, that's a problem. All right, it's early in the month, and you were an inside week and down, but then came back up. That's another problem, right? This is a 2-week inside pattern. It's probably not something I want to be dealing with. But if I get onto a 30 and it's coming down, and it's coming down like this, I wait for them to triangulate out, and then here, pop back up a bit, but this is your 2 up, 2 down reversal down here, and then if you're going to bottom pick it, here's your hammer counter shooter after stopping all these guys out, 2-2 back up on the 30. If you go to SQ, not going to trade that today. Inside day for sure in SQ. Right now, tomorrow you might have your inside day up that reconfirms the inside weekend up. Right, but today, no way. But if you were going to, right, off the lows, you had the 2 goes 3 here, right? After hitting magnitude, inside and down, but didn't get out of the mother bar, but then came back in. That's a problem because then you got a 3. Then it pops up, goes inside here, and there's your 2-1-2 reversal down. And then here, another inside bar. See if you can get any measured move out of it. But then here, pokes down a little bit and then goes 3. So, but inside day, chop shoppage. Nope. Okay. And Paul. Should I wait for a signal to trigger on the flip or any time a signal goes in force? Well, like I was just saying here is that, it depends on how many other things are going on, right? As we get closer to a flip, usually you want to wait for that to flip out. But depending on all the other signals, it might still, you can still take it. And you check with me. You're like, why? Because one of the things I was noticing today that I want everybody to be real careful on, I do a lot of research for you. And, there's oftentimes people say there's almost too much, right? And to narrowing down your universe. But pretty much, I'm telling you where to go. And so you don't really have to be scanning and bringing up other stocks, right? We're pretty much on top of where we need to be. So I just caution you on that. But yeah, anytime a signal goes in force, but I want you to check with me, especially if you're starting out, just so I know I can either call it off and be like, here's the problem with that, or say every reason to believe that's going to work. And that's why we look for simultaneous breaks. They're very powerful because especially like in a sector or like when we had the broader averages today, that tells us they're buying all of them. That's good. That's a good thing. And in a sector specific simultaneous break, that tells us that the institutions are buying all the companies. They're not picking and choosing in the industry. That's a good thing. If that makes sense. On ARC today, after the first, when it went green and then red, how did you know it was continuation and not reversal? On the first, on which time frame? Here, 60 coming in. Well, this is green. You didn't turn that around. Right, so you're green on the week. You're inside weekend up. Your rev strap month. I'm waiting for this baby right here. Right there. 2 goes 3. Boom. Off she goes. First 30 minute. Off she goes. Full time frame continuity to the upside. And what the heck is this? Yeah, boy. Rev strat 30. Boom. Right there. Major signal. Major signal. Back through previous range. Everything we like. Wait for them to triangle the out. They will. And then boom. Get, boy. So at this point, I had no reason to believe this thing was reversing to the downside. Because once you get a bar like this, now you got to take this out if you're going to change that day. Didn't come near it. And people kept talking about NVIDIA today. It took me a while to realize why not to take the price action like that. Will you talk about it again so new people understand? Yes. So, NVIDIA, look at this mass on the daily. they're chopping the crap out of these guys. These guys are getting killed, right? And then what happens? Mother bar issues. You get stuck right here in the middle. And this is what will happen if you're only looking at intraday charts, right? Sometimes it'll happen if you're only looking up to dailies because you want to be looking at everything, right? What's this thing doing? So far, nothing. This month, nothing. Now you did slight weaken upper for a second, right? So if you're going to go after it, that would have been it. But once it comes in after that, no way. That's why you'll hear me say we like nice long red and green bars. They tend to get redder and they tend to get greener, all right? If you've ever gotten totally destroyed or you've gotten out too early, those are those long red and green bars, right? So we know that. And that's why when I'm going through charts for the strat time report, I'm not even looking at the symbols. I'm just looking for like long red and green bars, and then I'll look at the symbol. I don't care. But that's what I'm looking for. And what type of scans should we be doing over the weekend? You don't really have to. I do pretty much all of it for you. But basically what you want to know is, depending on what weekend it is, like next weekend I'd want to be looking at monthly scans on how many are taking out the highs and lows, right? Because on the weekend, monthly signals are the only thing that are still in force, right? And then I want to see how many things are closer to twoing up or down, right? So like when we started this month, and you go to SPY, and everybody's like, oh, market's going to crash, and I'm like, well, if it's going to do that, better take out that weekly first, because you ain't anywhere near taking out that month, right? And that's what we're always asking, what's the next two? And how many are closer to twoing in one direction? So to start off this month, again, almost everything was closer to taking out the highs of the month, right? And that's why once the weekly starts, I'll start scanning, is the weekly reconfirming what we know about the monthly. And then each day is the daily reconfirming what we know about the weeklies and monthlies. So that's what I'm doing. And also over the weekend, is there a high concentration of inside weeks? Where are they? Saying, okay, well, here's a ton of oils, or whatever it may be. See if there's a concentration of that, because then depending on when that occurs and what else is occurring, the important thing is, like, why I ring the triangle is that means you got a 2 coming, right, on the 60s, right? 2 is coming, a 1-2 is coming, and that means it's either a 3-1-2, a 2-1-2 reversal, or a 2-1-2 continuation, right? And depending on what's going on there, we'll have a bias of what we want to happen, right? So let's say with SPY here, yeah, it would be nice to take that week back down here, but when you have the 3-1-2 and you just took all these guys out, if we go up this way, then we're going to go take that out, right? So we wouldn't have minded the pounding them, but when it comes back here, now we have magnitude up to here, right? If it went down, the magnitude was only to take this out, right? But because it went up, now we're looking to take that out, because outside bars exist. So that makes sense. Because another thing I don't want people to get confused by is thinking you have to know every setup and all that kind of stuff. Not only is the strat repetitive, I'm repetitive. You can just pick out one and that's all you do, right? And if you do that, that way you can scan for how many of those things are going your way. Which is to say, let's say I only trade 2 weakers, right? All I got to do is scan for the 2 ups and 2 downs and see how many there are, right? And if there's a ton more on one side, I'm going to trade that side. If it's a mixed baggage, I'm going to look for any themes in there. Are they buying one sector, selling another? Everybody making sense so far? There's another thing I don't like is wallflowers. If you don't get it, ask again. If you don't ask it, ask it. Don't think you can bother me by asking the same question over too much. Okay. RBLX. So RBLX And I think you brought this up to me, and maybe not. Well, see, the good thing about it here, it's still an inside week, and usually I wouldn't say that's good. But what that means is you can look for reversals because it's not breaking out of that. It's not getting out of there. So if this here's your 2-2 reversal on the 60 right here. 2 down, hammer them, stop out the bottom pickers, and then boom, 2-2 back up. And then once it goes, you can just stop it on the bottom of the 30s or the 60s the whole way back up, because if this works, it's going to take out this. These become an outside bar of that. You see? And if that works, you bring back up into the hammer back into this range. Now you can try and rip through these guys tomorrow. There's your 30 right there. Right there. You'll notice the time up here. It's a little small, but you'll notice the time that happened. That was a flip. Boom. Then if you get next inside 30, you could add to that and just walk it up on the lows of the 30 until you take this out. Making sense? So at the time, it's going to be tough to take this out, right? We knew that. However, once again, going back to the first question, if the 30 works, what's that going to do? Right? If this works, it's going to cause this. It's going to cause that break, right? That's a good thing. 60 is a major signal. Video a little out of focus for anybody? Shouldn't be. Time for use for day trading depends on how fast you are. So I need to get to know you better. Some people are slow and some people are a lot faster. When people first start out, I say I'm in 30s and 60s. There's more than enough to do there, just like I just showed you. It depends on how much of an animal you are. And do you know how to gauge magnitude? Especially with options. Because you'll see the best guys and gals using options here are going to be sniping and gamma spikes to magnitude. And then as soon as it hits magnitude, it's gone. Don't even wait around. If that makes sense. Well, let me see if I can get that. Here, let me get you something. Oops. I think I have it in here. Ooh, I got another question in my Gmail. Okay. Hold on. Here we go. Here you go. 2-1-2. You're going to take out the bullish continuation. Go take out the high of the 2. 2-1-2. You're going to take out the low of the 2. 3-1-2. You're going to take out the high of the 3. 2-1-2. Take out the low of the 2. 2-1-2. Take out the high of the 2. 3-1-2. Take out the low of the 3. 1 bar rev strat. Become outside bar. 3-2-2. 3-2-2. You're going to take out the high of the 3. 3-2-2. You're going to take out the low of the 3. The 2-2. You're going to take out the high of the previous bar to the 2-2 reversal, whatever that is. Same deal on the downside. These two are going to be coming outside bar of the bar before it. These two be coming outside bar of the bar before it. This is just really aggressive. Continuations. All right. The Rev Strat 1, 2, 2. We're looking to take out that mother bar. Same deal on the downside. Pretty nifty. And so that can be on any time frame. So I mean, if you're really good and you're on the 5 minute, and and you can do that, and also in your mind see what that's going to do to the other time frames, and say maybe you'll take some of it off, maybe you don't, maybe Okay. Sag. So Sag got trapped in mother bar issues all day long. Okay, so that's why you didn't hear me talking about that very much. You got this? That's cool. That was good. You could have held on until it took this out. Said okay. Inside and goes down and hits the magnitude. You could have held till here. Higher high. So I'm just going to bail on this thing, and if it retanks, it retanks. But that was a nice little one, though. Too bad it didn't keep going. When I say hammer counters shooter or shooter counters hammer, does the color of the candle matter? No. Nope. The only way it matters is that you're closer to two-in, right? And yeah, Disney. You also had the market recovering, so there was that. There's your shooter hammer puker. Inside data the downside, which triggers the weaker. And then you hit magnitude by taking these guys out. That was it for now. And I'm sorry, I've got another email that's on my other email. Okay, let me get to this. Okay, question from everyone. We currently use Thinkorswim as our trading platform. We have discovered a setting that will allow us to update the hourly chart at the bottom of the hour. Yes. Start aggregation market up. Yes. This shifting of chart updates can add quite a bit of confusion. For example, if we were enabled this feature during the market hours for the 1 hour chart, we would need to enable this feature for all to correspond with the 1 hour, or will the change on the 60 be enough to change? Yeah, the 15 minutes is going to go every 15 minutes no matter what you do. Will not give accurate info. Well, trading pre and post market, will the shift introduce affect pre and post market chart updates? I'm not a Thinkorswim guy, but I would say if you're just toggling back and forth, it would just go there and show you because you can trade off those charts. Just during the day, you want that updating at the bottom of the hour. But after hours, have at it. Okay. This question is more out of curiosity, and you don't have to answer. We've been able to figure out what a Randy Jackson is from a RevStrat perspective. Basically, a failed RevStrat. I guess our question is, why is it called Randy Jackson? Knowing why may not help, but doesn't matter too much. That's named after Randy Jackson that I trained. He's a trader. And he said, the RevStrat doesn't screw enough people. I want a failed RevStrat so I know that my triangle's a little bit bigger. So that's why we call that the Randy Jackson. Just so happens that he shares the name with a famous person, which makes it funnier. And let's see, an RBLX. Can you enter? See, I went Randy on. Nope. It's gonna be a no from me, dog. And the third bar, when it turns green, here on the flip, it's a little dangerous, but you could. But that's why you have the 30 setup. You're right there. Just let that baby trigger. But yeah, if you're going to be a continuity animal, you would have preferred that to the downside, but yeah, you can do continuity entries. Just don't try and confuse yourself with too many tricks up your sleeve, if you will. You can always get better, but it takes longer to learn if you're trying to learn everything at one time. Yeah, just be going off the opening price and make sure that you have that continuity. Failed rev strat. 1, 2, boo. uh, like I said, you just want to look for a combination. It's like if I'm looking to try and bottom pick this thing, if I got a 30 that's going to turn on it, that'll trigger the 60. And the 60 is a major signal. Remember, we're always using participation groups against each other. So let's say I'm short this thing. I could stay short. Now I got problems. Here's where I start to have problems. Where's your stop? Above this and this and that. Boom. Right here it looks like garbage. Once it starts turning green back here, now you got my attention. The difference between a reversal and a rev strat is a rev strat is the reversal of an inside bar. So you need a 1. So a rev strat is either a 1, 2, 2 or a 1, 3. Right? It's still a 3 reversal and it's still a 2, 2 reversal. It just follows a 1 because there was an equilibrium. So what that means is buyers and sellers were equal, right? One side tried to take, and one side attempted to take the direction, right? It failed. Once it takes this out, then it failed, right? Then you can go boom and take all these guys out. So it's like tug of war. Okay, drop the rope. Boom. In this case, it didn't happen to work out. Still an inside week. Still an inside month. Yeah, people confuse those all the time. There's still a 3 reversal and a 2, 2 reversal. It just happened after a 1. And I don't want to. Are there any other trading platforms available that handle the updates better than Thinkorswim? TrendSpider updates on the bottom of the hour. That I do know. Yeah, SQ, we already looked at it, but we'll look at it again. Inside day. Got to get out of there. But you do have the week and upper. And you got some more magnitude on the month. This would be directional. Here's your Randy Jackson. Inside. Boom. Boom. Randy Jackson now inside day. So that would be 212. Directional, not a reversal. And the good thing is, one of the good things is, you say don't trade a 1, but the good thing is here, even though it took some distance on this, you can see last week it was inside, but it was red, which means you had corrective activity, which was this, which means you have a range to come back through, which is that. So when this took that out, we're looking to take all these guys out. And Tesla's inside day. On any platform? Well, I know you can't do it on TC2000. Twizzlers, inside day. So 2 month inside pattern. If we can get out of there, because we slightly went inside month and up last month, and now Momo Hammer. If you can get above that, you can use any time frames you want. You're just going to notice a lot of things kick in at the bottom of the hour. You're going to notice it's kind of uncanny, but you could use any time frame. It's going to work because all we're doing is identifying participation groups by price and time. And if you go to TrendSpider and use promo code STRAT25, you get 25% off, just so you know. And they know it's us. So if you're paying full price, cancel and use STRAT25. You'll be glad you did. Yeah, Dave, I mean, you'll see like DD will use 4-hour charts. You know, people use all different things. And if you go on TC2000, there's so many crazy things you could do. There's so many crazy time frames. And they all would work because we're just identifying participation groups by price and time. But Twizzlers, inside day, trying to get out of all this stuff in here. And this stuff. Mother bar problem, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months in here. Although this was a bad tick, so actually this I think was a 2-up. But you get the idea. You're stuck in here. This ain't last year when it comes to Twizzlers. Yep. So that's where you train your mind to see them as a 60. Or run it by me. And not familiar with the top and the bottom of the hour? What do you mean? Back in the olden days, we used to have things called clocks. So the top of the hour would be, the minute hand would be straight up. Bottom of the hour, straight down. So top of the hour, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. Bottom of the hour, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, all that. And so anytime you're going to see a new bar, just like I was explaining before about how I scan, people are going to see a new bar, right? We know that. And so the question is, are they about to see another green bar or are they about to see a red bar, right? Are they about to see a red bar? And if they see a red bar, is that going to be a reversal, a 2-2 reversal on them? Because the thing about 2-2 reversals and any reversal really is, or a change in color of the, that's going to change the trader's perception of what's going on, right? So you can have something breaking into new highs, but the next one's a 2-2 reversal to the downside. The best looking chart now is the worst looking chart. That's something you'd want to avoid. Like, it's a breakout. I'm like, is it? Getting in is the hardest. How close should your stop be when entering a reversal? I like to be right away. I'm home run derby, man. Either it works or it doesn't. So keeping it tight depends on, do you have full time frame continuity? What else is going on? I teach the 1 cent stop just so I know that I know what you're doing. I'd rather have you frustrated than killed. And I know Sarah likes to use half of the candle that you're entering off of because then it's still a 2 even if it fails. After 50%, then it could be a 3. But if it doesn't do that, she'll let it move around a little bit. Because over time, too, you want to be able to gauge probability. Saying, okay, I know my magnitude, I know what my setup is. How much evidence do I have this is going to work based on other time frames? Am I in a certain sector? What's the market doing? All that kind of stuff. That's cool. Yeah, tighten it up and then. Yes, I hope we do well, but we can't do terribly. You're not going to get murdered doing this. When I first started on the headset, that's what I used to always say. First, I'm going to teach you guys how to not get killed. I'm like, what? I'm like, first, I'm going to teach you how to not get killed. Then we'll worry about making money. Here's all the bonehead things you do. Don't do that. It's not that you made a mistake. It's that we necessarily is that we might have an unknown participant, right, that we can't see. That's why we like it all to line up with institutions and all that kind of stuff. When we say, I see you, I know what you're doing. I know exactly what you're doing. And I'm jumping in front of you, and then you're going to carry me to the promised land with your size order, right? Because I see you. And that's why oftentimes you can hear me talking about how we want to trade against people in losing positions. They got to do something, right? If you're in a losing position, you got to do something. If you're smart, you get out. If you're dumb, you add to it. If you're dumber, you ignore it. uh, let's talk about guys, gals in trouble on the gappers. Yeah. Can you talk about that some more? Sure. What's up, man? Yeah, so whenever you have a gap, you got a couple things going on. You got people getting killed, and you got people at a nice profit, right? Now the question is, if you get that reversal, you can get the guys who are at a profit about to see it all vaporized. And so when you have the 2-2 reversal, say on a gapper, on a nice gap, and it starts coming in to fill the gap, you got everybody who held overnight that's just slapping high fivers, watching everything get vaporized, and they're all selling at the same time. That's why you can have the powerful gap in reverse, right? When you see, I'm up $2,000, I'm up 50, I'm up five, get out, right? Right? You ever had that happen to you? So that happens, right? Also, what might help cause the gap is everybody getting blown out on the short side. Like, the heck with it, just going to cover, right? And then boom, then the other guys get killed on the downside. So that's why a 2-2 reversal of the downside would work and be like, well, I mean, the news was discernibly good. I mean, why wouldn't the price stay up there? I'm like, because a whole bunch of greedy guys just got a bunch of money and they're watching it disappear at the same time, and they're all hitting sell. You can do the 3 or 5 if you're fast enough, sure. It's kind of like, I don't know, is that the Tommy Boy GIF with Chris Farley where he's got that big smile on his face and just evaporates. It's exactly like that. And so, like for time frames, yeah, for time frames, everybody's going to be different. So, there's no set rule. It's the strat's always going to customize it to who you are. Not everybody's going to go out there and bang waters, right? And that's why 30-60 gappers can be pretty mellow, and some days you don't do anything. Patience is very, very important. Yeah, Jermaine got to get a hold of that GIF for the next gap and crapper. And always staying in your lane. Another problem that people come here, they try and jump around everything I'm calling out. That's difficult to do because I'm talking to a large amount of people, and everybody's doing something different. And that's why it's also good to chat here, so you can familiarize with other people what they're doing, right? So you can follow the similar people that are doing similar stuff you are. Yeah, I already talked about Tesla, but inside day, but you got all this crap in here in the middle of this nothingness is the problem. But you do have a 2 month inside pattern to the upside if you can get out of there. But that's why you're not hearing me say Teslas as much. Although you got nice inside day back through previous range here. And it would be nice if you got to start puking back through here, but meme deathers. RL. So RL right there. That was inside. Now, if you were bold, you could have taken the trying to take it up, but then here's your rev strat to the downside right there. 1, 2, 2. No higher high on the 60. And if that works, it sets this baby up, which is in the video tonight. Boom! Give me that 2-2. You guys gonna hold overnight, are you? Gap village in the village once he starts puking through here. However, it does trigger this, right? A 2-2 monther, so it's still good on the month. Just things that make you go, right? What's the next two? You're a lot closer to a 2-2 reversal, right? You are. How about the 30? Well, this would have been a little aggressive here if you took the 30 here, but you did have corrective activity even though it's a 2 up because it's red, then inside 30. Magnitude to take this out, which it did. But you might have gotten a little spooked here. That might have stopped you out. Then you could have reversed here the 2-2-30 here at that point. Because if that works, that's going to set up that rev strat on the 60. But monthly's still good. And so we call that conflict, right? We prefer this thing just goes blasting into outer space, but it hit short-term magnitude by taking these guys out on the month. We already did that. These guys. Question is, can you climb this guy? So you'll notice here on the weekly, back through previous range, here's your pivot machine gun. These guys are all gone. Then the question is, the buyer going to be strong enough to step up and take it up through here? Nope. Nope. Not today. Stop them up. Stop those guys out, but once they're gone, you got to step up. And they were not prepared to do so. Make sense? Should make sense. Because another good rule of thumb is always remember how you feel when you're in losing trade, right? Those are the people we want to be trading against. I don't know. Kilt. What you gonna do, boy? And that's why we look for the combinations. You can turn people into losers. We use other participation groups to turn other people into losers. Yeah, fear is stronger emotion than greed. Unless you're like the apes and just don't care. Yep, getting killed. Or as they like to say, you lose some, you lose some. uh, all right, guys, we'll see you. All right, well, we're slowing down here. If you got no more questions, power 50 minutes. Robin Hood's still going. Yeah. And if you didn't get a chance, I was on Benzinga last Wednesday, and I talked about that exact thing for newer traders, especially. It's like everybody wants to be a hero, and I've got, I'm like, it's like you don't have to learn everything. It's like I want to be a football player. I'm like, what position you want to play? I'm going to play quarterback and running back and my tight end. I'm going to be wide receiver. I'm going to be the kicker, and I'm going to play linebacker. I'm like, take it easy. pick a position, dude. Yeah, Hood. They're aping Hood hard. Okay, on that note, I think we're going to cut it here, and I'll have this posted on YouTube. Toot sweet. And crude oil number in the morning. I think Lyft earnings came out. We got some other earnings coming out, so that's always going to be fun for the Gapper list. And you've got the Strat Attack to watch. You got the regular video, and you just had this, so should be all stratted up for the day. All right. So everybody have a good night, and we'll see you bright and early.